look at myself that way.
My name is Richard Dodds, and this is The Branch at Elkhorn Outdoors.
Hello and welcome to The Branch at Elkhorn Outdoors. My name is Chris Peltz. I am one of the hosts of The Branch at Elkhorn Outdoors, as well as the host of Blind Grilling, where, yes, I am the most interesting griller in the world. But today we are on The Branch as well as Blind Grilling, and joining today is the host of The Branch, Mr. Richard Dodds, and he is joining us from Minnesota with a special guest, Olive Smith, as well. Richard, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm even better because I got Olive sitting right next to me.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's awesome. Olive, how are you?
Good.
Good. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, good to have Grandpa there with you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we had another special guest lined up, Mike Birch from Hunt the Sun over in South Africa, Kimberley, South Africa. But when it comes to outfitters, lots of things can happen. Isn't that right, Richard?
Yeah, it's that you're always got one foot in the door and one foot going out the door. It's that whole thing because you just there's so many things that people don't see when they come on a trip that are done, just getting ready for everything. Personally, it's a big chore. It's like having 8 or 9 balls in the air at one time and trying not to let any hit the ground.
Yeah.
And so that's what was happening with Mike. He was, because of what the last 18 months have been, it's just been just ramping up. And I always call it, and you've heard me say it before, that the world is starting to spin again. And that's what we're trying to get going now, is trying to get moving, trying to get people traveling, and
Yeah.
that's what Mike's working on today. He's got some hunters and he's working with some new landowners. So he ended up getting behind, but I hope that he'll be a every 2 week guest.
Sure. Yeah, and looking forward to certainly having him on. But in the meantime, Hunt the Sun is and where Mike is at in South Africa, and that's an outfitter that you've had some experience with. I mean, you've been there, you've hunted with him in South Africa, and from what I can gather, really, really had a good time. And I want you to talk about that a little bit, but first of all, with the travel, let's just go ahead and talk about the travel right now. I mean, what, do you know right now, as people are looking at South Africa, because I know there are restrictions when it comes to New Zealand. I mean, they're still shut down, as far as some of the outfitters are concerned. But, you said they've got hunters in South Africa now. So that's, opened up and ready to go.
Yeah, it's just kind of like the little baby steps right now because, it is hard to travel right now. And I just came from Costa Rica last week. So it's the hoops that you have to jump through, to make sure that and you absolutely want to stay safe and you want to go to a place that's safe. And
Mhm.
so it's just going to take some time, but having the new people starting to, our guest at Hunt the Sun is, even in the small numbers, is just such a good feeling because we're trying to get back to, our lives, living our lives, and trying to get on with life again too, and being an outfitter, there's so many different worries anytime. Anybody that is an outfitter, a guide, knows if you care about your people, that's a big worry. If your land is a worry, lodging is a worry. It's a never ending deal, but it's the best life of all because you get to share the outdoors with people. And that's what Mike Birch and his family are are really good at is they make you feel like family when you're
Yeah.
there. I honestly am probably one of the hardest clients because I know the background of stuff. I know how things work, and I know how tough it is to make trips of what, because these people are, this is a dream of a lifetime a lot of times for people, and
Mm.
so it's a big responsibility. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we hate that Mike isn't here today, and we'll get him back, but I'll speak on his behalf, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah, sure.
there.
Yeah. Well, in fact, just very quickly, we're going to put in the comments a link to the branch at Elkhorn Outdoors where we are live. And, for those who may be watching over on the Blind Grilling page, this is a project that we have that we're getting started. We're going to be doing quite a few live streams, talking to a lot of great, interesting guests. And this is Richard Dodds, which is who brought me down to Costa Rica. If you've seen the videos of the not only the tuna fishing, the dolphins, but also the hiking in the jungle in Costa Rica on the Blind Grilling page, this is the guy that helped make it all happen. And we this aspect of things is what you've done for 30 years, right, is hunting and fishing outfitter. And you've it hasn't been that long ago since you traveled yourself to South Africa to hunt with Mike at Hunt the Sun.
Yeah, 2 years ago I did. Um, yeah, it was an eye opener. You know, Olive and I were talking about this morning because she's been my assistant since I got back, and we joke, like we said, okay, we're going to go to how the world has changed is we're going to go to Costa Rica this morning, then we're going to visit with Chris from Springfield, Missouri at noon, and then we're going to go to South Africa when we do the meet. So the and I know yours and my lives. You know, if you told me when I was young that I would be going to Africa to hunt, you might as well told me I was going to go to the moon because
Yeah.
it was just such a big difference. And now the world is so much smaller, and it really isn't, but it is. But yeah, I did go there, and thanks to Mike, I mean, I hunted Cape Buffalo, which, I've been in on a lot of hunts and been in on a lot of success. But for
Yeah.
for me, that hunt was like, I really can't put it into words. I went through everything, how it happened, but they don't lie to you when they say when you hunt Cape Buffalo, it's just like they look at you like you owe 'em money. They're just the meanest deal in the world, and that buffalo that you're showing, we followed for a long, long time, and had to walk through some other buffalo. Had to the day prior to when I got that one. Just a quick story: we're walking through there, and being a guide, I know what guides do. And all of a sudden, I seen our tracker take off running. He was right in front of me, and he took off running to the left. So I took off running, and a snake had come down out of a tree right next to where he was walking by. So it didn't take nothing for me to take off either. I wasn't as fast as Albie, but I learned fast. And that same day, we were sneaking out. Then after we got past the snake, we're moving up on the buffalo, and Albie stops again. Just the most phenomenal tracker I've ever been. And I thought I was halfway good, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I could not hold a candle to this guy or to Mike. But so we're getting up, and I'm looking, and I'm really tense because we're right in the middle of some Cape buffalo, following them, and got the wind in our face. And Albie looks to the right, and there's three elephants standing about, they couldn't have been 40 yards away, that I never saw. And they started to get our wind when we got up a little bit by us. And so we had to back out of there. And we just made a big loop again and came back out around, got away from the elephants. And when we came back around, all of a sudden we ran into a pride of lions that were following the same herd of Cape buffalo that we were following. So then we had to make another loop around the lions. And then when we got up on the Cape buffalo, then it was like the most intense and exciting thing I think I've ever been in, because I was only maybe 35, 40 yards away,
Yeah.
and they said shoot, and I shot, and that buffalo looked at me like, that don't hurt.
Yeah.
He just didn't even flinch. I hit him with a 458, and he spun. Then he turned to the other side, and I hit him again. And I thought, that's got to do it. And then he turned and faced me head on, and then I put a shot right underneath his chin and knocked him down. And it was just like, oh my God, what this whole deal. And I don't really start shaking until afterwards. But when I was walking up to that buffalo, it was like, oh my, this is quite a deal.
Yeah, I bet that. And I mean, they're not only are they huge, they're extremely dangerous, right? I mean, that's one of the most dangerous animals in Africa, they say. And so that it had to be exciting, and like you said, tough. Wow. I mean, just they can just take what you what you give them to a point. So
exactly. And that would be, that would be my advice that I really learned down there is I was 62 when I shot that buffalo, and that was just the time of my life I could go. But after seeing Africa and being there, it's all that they say it is and more. And you can't even explain till you get down there. The place we hunted on was called Timbavati, and it was like our Ranching for Wildlife in Colorado. It was a group of landowners got together and decided to really watch their animals and their herd and manage them properly. It's like we had a government game warden that hunted with us all the time to ensure that the hunt was done ethically and safely. And then when we did get it, the meat all went to to the village, and everybody, it was all good. It's just all good.
And that's really cool. Now, you said there when you were hunting, because there's a lot that I want to kind of unpack with what you said. So the lions, you said the pride of lions that you got to. We've got a picture here that you sent of just a print, a footprint with a shell, a bullet next to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, what is that something? I mean, does that can you kind of explain just the size?
Well, without freaking everybody out, that track we found the next morning right where we have breakfast. So that lion walked right through our camp at that night, and it just was right there. And I'm not a good traveler. I never used to be, and I worry too much, but
yeah.
I got down there, and you're sleeping in a tent, in this, it's the true safari deal. I mean, it's just awesome. And I thought I'll never sleep, because you hear noises all night long. You hear something, you hear a leopard go by, or you hear, one night there was an elephant that was standing next to my tent that wasn't 10 yards from the tent. And then another night we're sitting having dinner in the dark around the fire ring, and an elephant came up, and all of a sudden we're sitting there, and I look up, and there's this great big head, a male elephant, a bull elephant, looking at us in the camp. And you kind of always keep your guns right by it. But I was amazed at how cool and calm Mike and Warren stayed. They just got their guns. They did have it pointed at the elephant, but they just talked and said, hey, you need to move. You need to go away. You need to keep going, and that's in the elephant. They just walked it right away, right out of camp.
Yeah. But wow.
It's truly, that Timbavati place is like none other. I mean, after that first night, I slept so good. It was like the music of the world put you to sleep. I mean, just the noises, the hippos, everything you heard at night. It was amazing experience.
Right. And that's so cool, because so many animals, the wildlife that is there that you get to experience that is not here. It's, I think about, just like the Costa Rica trip with all the different animals and different flowers and the smells and the sights, everything that people can experience there. And yet, you go to South Africa and
Hey, Chris.
it's all the more different. Yep.
Yeah, Chris or Mike. Mike just tried to ring me on the phone. Should we try to bring him on board?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah. If
still
he's,
possible?
it is still possible.
How,
If he's the same link we sent him, he can jump on for sure.
how do I do that to get him hooked up without cutting the cord here?
Um, Well, now hold on just a second. We'll see if we can't get him on for sure. So hold on just a second and see if my lovely assistant over here can get him. May have to do it through WhatsApp. Okay, but
Yeah. So,
is
but
that
yeah,
him?
it's there's so many animals and there he is.
Yeah.
He is on
How's
there.
guys?
Hey.
How you doing, Mike?
Doing very well, thank you. Sorry, I'm a bit late. We got caught outside this evening.
Right. Well, that's all right. We understand that completely, but certainly glad you could join us. We got Mike now with us from Hunt the Sun over in South Africa, and we've been talking a little bit about Richard's experiences over there, and his hunt. We kind of went through that just a little bit, but yeah, certainly glad you're able to join us, and hopefully you had a successful day today as well.
Yeah, fantastic day. Every day out in Africa is an experience. So we had a really good time. Yes, when Richard came over, we tried to give him a very broad spectrum of what Africa is all about, and I think we nailed it. We unfortunately started him off what is normally the pinnacle of African hunting. He started off Africa by hunting a buffalo, which is in one of our most incredible experiences. So I'm going to take you over. Actually, Richard's buffalo sits in our lodge at the moment. So
Okay.
I'll give you guys a little bit of a tour of where we are. So if you'll bear with me. So this handsome chap over here, I don't know if you all can see that. That's Richard's buffalo, and one that he shot in our Timbavati concession. Our Timbavati concession is a really special place. It's situated next to the Kruger National Park. So, a really incredible place. And, you can go and hunt with the big five and be around elephants and lions and things, the big five, which is absolutely incredible. And then, of course, he came to Arnisdale, which is where I am at the moment, and hunted a little bit here at Arnisdale.
All right.
Oops, we lost you, Mike. We lost your sound.
Oh, there he is. Yeah,
You got me again. All right. Sorry. Out here in the sticks, we don't always have fantastic Wi-Fi, so it will come and go.
Well, that's Richard. Go ahead, Mike.
So Richard had, I believe, a very good broad spectrum hunting to all of our areas, and which will give him a very, very good way to be able to chat and communicate about what we have to offer here.
Yeah, I was telling him that my hunt with the Cape Buffalo was just unbelievable, and we were talking about that, but the land that you control and have hunted on for a long time, it's just tremendous. And I was telling Chris that I'm kind of the tough guy because I've been in the industry so long that I look for stuff in the cracks, and what got me right from the start, and it's the same with Olive here, and I know it's with your daughters, Mike and Chris, is that we're all pretty family oriented, and our kids and granddaughters have grown up, and I honestly can't wait for that hunt with the Cape Buffalo hunt this November with Kaylee. Just is going to be tremendous.
It's going to be fantastic, and I'm looking forward to it. shortage. You know, Richard, one of the nice things about dealing with guys who are in the industry is that all the questions that you to ask, those uncomfortable questions, which we don't always really want to answer, or that kind of make the whole thing about what happens and how it happens. Those questions, and it's great because we really try and promote good, ethical, hard hunting. And without hunting all this ground that we manage and look after, it wouldn't be worth anything. We have to have hunting to be able to manage it. Otherwise, the wildlife isn't worth anything.
I
Yeah,
know
and
Go-
that I think that's a great point, just with the management, because I think a lot of people miss that very point, the fact
Yeah.
that it needs to be managed for the health of the animals themselves.
For sure, for sure. We've taken and we've used agriculture now to use the land and utilize the land, and we've taken away a lot of the predators. So, in the areas that there are no predators, we have to do the role of what the predator does. And I think a lot of the wildlife diseases that we see across the world now are mainly because of that the wildlife gets to overpopulate areas. And if we don't manage those areas, then we have sicknesses and diseases breaking out. It becomes unhealthy. It's just nature kicking back and fixing it up again. It's the same as that if we allow the predators to become overpopulated, we're going to find that our animal numbers will collapse. So we've got to manage the predators as well, and I'm sure you guys know all about that. I'm not going to get into your
well,
contentious
yeah,
politics.
kind of go back in though, Mike. Tell us about you and your family, but the land management too on that's your professional life also. I mean, you love to hunt and do awesome at it, but the land management that goes into to sustainable, hunting, and to have good grass, good, when you're fighting anything outdoors with, enough water, not enough water, too much. You guys walk that fine line with great, balance. And it's tough because I had to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
so tell them a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I come through the park system, so I've been in our provincial parks, and I've come through formal conservation. So it's very important for us, to be able to utilize all of that and put it into practice every day in what we do. Without using traditional, looking at what we've got. I mean, we use basically a three-tier system. Is that the most important thing to conserve and protect is soil. Without soil, you can't grow good vegetation. Without good vegetation, you can't manage good animal numbers. So, that's what we call the three-tier system. And we basically are always managing to look after our soil. Soil is our most valuable resource. Without good soil, we cannot grow anything. And so that's what we base all of our principles on. To manage our animal numbers around, obviously we look at our environmental factors, we look at what our rainfall is, we look at the condition of the properties that we're hunting on to make sure that they're in good condition. And we then have a look at what vegetation growth we have each year. Each year we do counts on all of our properties. These can be either ground counts, we can do horseback riding, we use people, we go through, count animals, we use helicopters, we do strip counts. We've got various methods that we use to determine our populations. And then from there, we work out what our takeoff is. And then when we've got our takeoff number, we then go through and do additional counts to see what our population consists of, how many trophies there are, how many females, how many young we're seeing, and basically put a scale across to work out what we want to take off, and in which animal grouping are we wanting to take females, are we wanting to take males, younger males, where we driving our population to.
that's the big balance I was talking about, because the first thing people always think it when you say, well, I'm taking care of the ground so that we have quality numbers, that's that's really not true for what you are doing. They in general, sometimes people think you're raising animals just to shoot or to hunt. And that's so far from the truth of what really is happening. There are some places that are like that, but
Yeah.
if they don't, if you might be good for 1 or 2 years, because you can't sustain that. You could hunt everything off and have the best grass in the world, but trying to balance it. That's what I noticed with your land when I was down there. And I traveled a lot. And like you said, I look at the backdoor stuff, and I was so impressed on just the herd numbers, the numbers of quality animals, and then the land that is under, that you control.
Yeah.
And that's a big chore. It's a really big chore.
But it is, and I've got a very good team that helps me, and Natalie, my wife, she got her doctorate, her PhD in rangeland management. So obviously, we've got a very good team and a very good backup. And coming from a research background, we've got the right people that we need to bounce things off when we run into a stumbling block. You have to scientifically manage your properties, and you've got to manage it for a goal. And
Yeah.
the goal is to have healthy populations. Once you've got healthy populations, you can get good trophies. And I think that, one of the big things that we also look at is that we're not trying to grow trophies. We're trying to grow healthy populations, because what we're trying to offer isn't a trophy, it's an experience. We want to get you to come to Africa and have a really good, fantastic fair chase hunting experience. And that experience hopefully results in you taking home a fantastic trophy. The
That's what I
trophy's
was.
there for
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the trophy's just there for you to remember what your experience was about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to ask you too. Is I was always asked that question, but what you know how hard it is, and especially the last 18 months. But why do you do what you do? I mean, you can't. It's hard to put into words too. I mean, but
Yeah.
it why do you go through all the worry? Why do you go through the land worry? Why do you go through the
Yeah.
people worry? That's a diff, and that's kind of the what I thought about this whole podcast is we have to get back to just living life again, no matter
Yeah.
what. You know,
Yeah.
everything's a chance. You got a chance to have a drought. You have a chance to,
Yeah.
outfit of anybody lives that COVID life their whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, real quick before you answer that, Mike, real quick, let me get to a little bit of business here. And we're talking with Mike Birch from Hunt the Sun over in South Africa. I would really recommend that you check out the website, Hunt the Sun, and look at all that they have to offer. And we're talking about some land management and getting ready to get into why he's doing what he does. And I think it is a great question that Richard's asked. And I'm kind of curious to kind of hear this answer that you've got, Mike.
Yeah, I think that you either are a hunter or you're not a hunter. I think it's something that you either do or don't do. And I think that from my earliest memory that I've always done, it's always been about hunting. But it wasn't just hunting; it was the animals. I've always had a soft spot for collecting animals or helping animals, picking up strays. We've had numerous orphan animals that we've reared. When you come and visit us, you'll always bump into something. There's always some other project or some animal that's needing, that got rescued and is now being rehabilitated. And of course, not just rehabilitated, released as well wherever possible. That's very important for us. So yeah, I think it's something which is a burning desire and a passion that's in our lives, is to be outside and to live and to do what we do. So it's really difficult to explain it's not something that's a vocation. It's really something that, it consumes you with everything that you do. And the fact that I can have my family in it and my family love what I do, and they love doing it as well, that's very important. So,
It is.
hunting isn't just about killing animals. It's we all really understand. You might get through a stage in your life where you enjoy that, and you want to hunt as much for the sake of or taking home meat. But eventually, in the end of it, we all realize that we do it for a certain reason, and we do it because we love being outside, we love animals, and it becomes a very important part of who we are.
I know the only way I could ever explain it back a long time ago was that right, right when you do kill something or when you harvest something, you have all the emotions in your hand at one time.
Yeah,
You're happy, you're sad, you took a life, you might have been working at this goal for 3 or 4 or 5 years or 20 years, but everything all at that moment gets released, and it's hard to explain that to people. I've had hunters that just broke down and started crying when they got their
yeah,
first elk, or and it's they aren't crying because of the kill, they're crying because it is something inside of you, and not everybody has it. Olive and I were
yeah,
talking about that on the way out here this morning. If you'd have told me when I was Olive's age that I was going to hunt in Africa, you could have told me I was going to the moon just as easy, because
yeah,
it was so far out of the realm. And now with Olive, her her age group, the world is a lot tighter and a lot smaller quickly. This, like we were talking before you came on, is we've talked to people in Costa Rica this morning. She's my production assistant. She keeps me all in order. So, but what do you say to these young kids now that, they, I'm not saying that you ever need to like hunting, but what do you say to them this about, you know, what it really is? That's my big challenge. I don't know how to put that into words, honestly.
yeah. Richard, it's so difficult now because I think that our world has become so fast paced, and I think that people, the youth of today, really that they just they grow up in a different world from what we do. But yet, you take those kids away from their tablets and computers and their video games, and you bring them out to Africa, and as a lot of parents do, a lot of parents are really great about that, and they bring us their kids, and we take them and we teach them about what different animal tracks are and how the ecosystem works, and the system that those animals are in, and give them a bit of exposure to what's happening, and you see how quickly those kids transform. And what they've really got, the advantage of what we had, is that they've got the instant access to all of that technology, and these kids are able just to go and learn more about it. And it is incredible how many kids we have found, that have these experiences. 2 years ago, I had the great privilege of hunting with an 11-year-old, and this was a fantastic little young girl, and we took a Hartman zebra and a couple of other trophies, and she had a fantastic hunt. But in a month's time, I'll be taking that same young lady to go and hunt her first Cape buffalo in the Timbavati, which is going to be
Wow.
an absolutely unique experience. But her dad, her dad's told me that she's been completely consumed by it, and
Yeah.
has really gone into learning and studying about it, and just finding out more about Africa and the African animals, which has awakened something. So when you hunt, you actually have the advantage that you don't just walk through the felt. You walk through the felt and you actually sharpen up all of your observation skills. You're observing everything around you. You're observing the birds, the squirrel in the tree, the whatever else that you're going to find going in the woods or in the felt. And that is a fantastic thing to awaken. And that actually in life will bring out so much more, because when you're just going in your general general life, you're actually going to find that you're going to have that keener observation skills.
Exactly. And
It's really fantastic.
well, and just connecting with earth again and land, and not living in a virtual world, all the
Yeah.
time. So yeah, it is good. Hey, can you go ahead and tell us about Timbavati, since we kind of the natural lead into that, how that all got started, and why that's such a why it is what it is. It's just an amazing place.
Yeah, Timbavati is an incredible place. What happened is that it was blocks of land that were private guys, and what they did is that they realized that that ground was not good for farming. So they came together and they pulled up all of their internal fences and all of the fences between them, and they put it all into a central conservation area. So what they then did is that they manage it as a unit. So each landowner still has his ground, and he has access to his ground and can move around his ground like he wants to. But all the wildlife on that ground is managed as a single unit. So he can't go and shoot whatever he would like to on the ground. The animals actually don't belong to him. They belong to the whole Timbavati project, and of course they border on the Great Kruger National Park. So when Kruger Park saw that they'd done a good job, they approached Kruger Park and they dropped the fences between Timbavati. So what happened then is that obviously it just increased the area that Kruger Park's got to have as a single management unit. And this just became a real success story because they manage all of their property as one contiguous unit, and do so in line with all the policies that Kruger has. So it's just made the conservation success story that is Kruger even bigger. And of course now with the poaching and all the the massive anti-poaching that goes on in that area, which costs a lot of money, hunting is one of their main areas that they can use to generate income to do anti-poaching and protect the rhino populations in those areas.
Yeah.
So
What were you
it is
telling
an
me?
incredible story.
It is, and everybody should, even if they don't hunt, they should go see it. And you can. There's a bunch of tour operators there that take you out. But what were you telling me with the poachers on the rhino horns, on what a bullet sells for on the black market there?
It's it's incredible. They can buy a 375 or 458 bullet, which is obviously the main rifle calibers that the poachers seem to like to use, but they can buy them for over $100 each. They've got a massive market on the black market, because obviously they need that ammunition to go and to shoot a rhino. But it's they sell rifles, and they sell equipment to go and do the poaching. It's all become pretty highly organized at the moment, and unfortunately it seems like it's run by the same people that do the drugs and the child trafficking and all of that. So unfortunately it's just another one of their commodities.
Right. Which is terrible and unfortunate. And we're so thankful we've got folks like you and others who are out there doing what they can to manage that and keep that under control. We do have some comments that have come in, really just folks saying hello. We got Travis from Midnight Range have said hello. We've got Miles over at Patriot in the Dark has said hello, and Gabor and some others who are tuning in and listening to the program. We certainly do appreciate that. I do want to direct folks to the Branch at Elkhorn Outdoors YouTube channel. We are, of course, live on that channel as well as the Blind Grilling channel. I know many who've been commenting are regulars to the Blind Grilling channel, but we are trying to get some traffic over to the Branch at Elkhorn Outdoors. We'll put that link once again in the comments. So if you're on Blind Grilling's page, if you want to go over to the branch at Elkhorn Outdoors and help us out, subscribe over there, and we'll have some more great content in the future. We got some more guests lined up and some great conversations, hunting, fishing, and outdoors and wildlife lined up. So we would appreciate folks being over and checking out the Branch at Elkhorn Outdoors page. And of course, we're talking with Mike over at Hunt the Sun in Kimberley, South Africa, talking about the management, the wildlife management that they have going on. And so we appreciate everybody tuning in and listening to the program today as well. And of course, Richard Dodds, who has hunted and has done a lot in wildlife management himself, and of course, talking and asking questions of Mike. So just a great conversation, and let's go ahead and continue that, guys.
Hey, Mike.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
What do you tell the first time African hunter, the first time guy to Africa, what to expect?
Richard, it's so hard. It's so hard to tell a guy what he's going to expect and to have here in Africa. But all I really ask guys is to come across with an absolute open mind, and just to go with it and just to let it consume you and enjoy it. That's the main thing. You've got to enjoy it, and you've got to just come across with a feeling of, well, let's go and experience it. We always say, please pack in your sense of humor as well, because we're going to have a lot of fun. And you're going to end up in the wrong side of a couple of our practical jokes, which is all just about what we like to do in camp. We like to have a bit of fun. But I think the most important really is just for you to come with an absolutely no expectation. Come and experience it, and you're going to Africa that really you're going to enjoy, and the aspects of it that you're going to enjoy. Come to learn about it, come to get sharper with your hunting skills. You're going to learn from our trackers, you're going to learn from our professional hunters. They're all highly skilled guys that have been hunting and spend a lifetime with hunting. You must remember that I always tell a story about Kaylee, my young daughter, when she was about 6 years old, was hunting with a chap from Eastern Washington, and we were crawling after a zebra, and we did quite an intense stalk. He got to do a shot, and the shot was successful. And as the zebra ran off, she turned to the hunter and said, "Good shot, well done." And he kind of looked at me and looked at her, and she said, "It's going to fall over now." And the next minute, the zebra fell over. And so he kind of said to me, "Well, where did I shoot it?" So she said, "Right on the shot, where my dad told you to aim for it." And he kind of, shook his head, and we walked up to the zebra, and, the shot was perfectly placed. So he turned to me and said, "Well, how did she know where I shot it?" So I said, "No, well, she saw." And, I just said to him, "You've got to remember that by the time, she was 6 years old, she had seen a lot of animals being hunted, and she had done a lot of investigation, spent hours in the skinning shed. So, her background on hunting was already at that age pretty sharp. So by the time you get a professional hunter and a tracker that's reached to their mid-20s, they've seen an incredible amount of hunting. They're highly experienced, and they really are eager to teach you. They want you to learn. They want you to get better. They want you to get the skills. They want you to become a better hunter. And I think that that's one of the real take, is teaching people what we know about hunting, what we know about our ecology, our animals, and the experience here, to make you a better hunter and a better conservationist back home. And it's gonna light up ideas and things that you can do back when you are home, and that's always a fantastic thing for us.
So I've got a question. Because we talk about the hunting, and that's usually where a lot is focused on. But with all the wildlife that you have around you, that isn't necessarily hunted, is there anything particular that you find your guests seem to be the most amazed by, as far as some of the wildlife that is out there?
Yeah, I think our guests are really amazed at the diversity of animals that they come across. And when I was driving along this evening, on my way back to the lodge, we little chap over here, and that is an art frog. I don't know if you guys can see it at all. Um, and so that's a nocturnal animal that you very seldom see. So it's not just about conservation. Isn't just about the big animals. And I mean, we sit with all kinds of animals. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can have a look. We've got porcupines and bat-ear foxes and aardwolves, and so it's always so much more than just the iconic species that we all get to know and all get to learn about. Conservation's about the big and the small. It's about going from the grass, and the different grasses, and why they're different grasses, why they're different trees, and why they're different animals that eat those grasses and trees and use that habitat. So I think that's what really amazes everybody when you're going on in the US and you're hunting elk hunt. You might see elk and maybe one or two other different animals. In Africa, you see maybe 20, maybe sometimes 30 animals, of different species, which is incredible, and that's the experience that we want.
Yeah, tell us about the Arnottsdale Lodge right there, and how that's set up for families and for husband and wives. How that all that works, that whole place.
Richard, we really, as we family orientated. We want our whole family to be involved, and we want your family to be involved. We've got all kinds of activities for families. We love having families here because we are family destination. So we want you to bring your wife. We want you to bring your kids. We will go out of our way to make sure that we look after your wife. If she might not want to hunt, we've got other activities that she could do. We're very close to a national park. When we in the Timbavati, it's easy because you are in a national park virtually. So you're bordering on a very big wildlife area, with Kruger around the corner. Down in the Eastern Cape at our Elephants Bush camp, uh, we kind of got you right by Addo Elephant Park as well. So we'll go and expose you to all of that. But all of our activities are geared to what you do. So we don't have a set activity and say, well, this is what we're going to be doing. We listen to what you give us, the information you give us. We listen to what you want to do, and then we take that and we tailor make your experience to be the best that we could make it for you. So
Yeah.
that includes pre and post safari tours. We'll take you to Cape Town. We'll take you to the winelands. We want to experience. We want you to experience South Africa as the beautiful country that it is. It's got an incredible amount of diversity. There's so much to see. They're different around every corner. Whether you into sport, adventure tourism, history, you want to go and explore all of our museums, or whether you want beaches, fishing, whatever your niche is that you have, we want you to come and experience that. So we want to
How,
make it the best for you.
why don't you talk a little bit about safety and how everything's working
Well,
nowadays and how that's going?
real quick before you get into that, we did have a question come in the comments asking about the season. Because we here in the U.S. we're really limited. Sometimes we have the fall season for some of the big game, some spring bear and turkey or things, and then in the winter though we go after the big game, it seems. But what time of year are your hunts?
Thank you, Chris. Obviously, we opposite to what you are in the northern hemisphere. So your summer is our winter. So December is our summer. So our hunting, it goes 12 months of the year. but practically we start in the end of February, and we hunt from February going into, which is our going into our fall, and our winter is June, and obviously by about September, October, we ending our hunting season, which is then going into our spring and summer. So our hunting season really is March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and probably half of October. So that's kind of the area that we like to hunt in. We have done hunts, in our summer. A lot of families like to do that because being summer, it's very hot. There's a lot of pool time. You can go to the beach. We can set up a different kind of activity for you. But, the hunting times are really then early morning, late afternoon with the midday sitting by the pool. So, yes, our best time of the year is March through to September.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And so Dick, Richard, you were asking about the safety aspects, things that they've gone through, Mike, to make sure that everyone is safe with everything that's going on right now.
Yes, obviously with all of the COVID, we've our staff are very much aware of that. We have trained them. We've got all the protocols. We are actually a testing agent for COVID. So before you fly back, you've got to have a negative COVID test to get back into the United States. So we are actually an agent for COVID testing. So we do the COVID testing right here at Arnisdale Lodge, and we send the sample away, and you get your certificates. We haven't had anybody that's positive yet. If you're positive, we have a protocol for that, and we deal with that accordingly. So that's all of the COVID protocols that we've instilled. We've got all of our staff. They are already doing hygiene and always have, but obviously we've got extra precautions now with sanitizing. We do not wear masks in our everyday area here. But if a client comes in and requires us to do that, we are all tested regularly, so we know we're negative. But if a client's concerned, we will then wear our masks. If the client would like to not wear a mask, well, that's his prerogative out in the hunting field. We feel that out in the hunting field, you don't have to wear a mask, but that's up to you. That's what you've got to do as you feel with that. Regarding about the safety, there's so many scary stories about South Africa, and I guess every country's got its areas that safety-wise you need to be concerned. But I think that we have had no incidents. We look after you very well. We make sure that you met at the airport. You're guided through. If you've got a connecting flight, then you put onto that connecting flight by our agents in the airport. If you're bringing a rifle through, the rifle's cleared. We get it all sorted out. We've got guys helping you with the paperwork, and we get you onto your flight and get you into camp. So basically, from when you land in South Africa to when you leave South Africa, you've always got somebody with you. You're always being looked after. You're not left to your own devices to try and have to work things out. We've made the whole approach into your hunting from when you tell us that you'd like to come hunting and book your airline tickets, still when you leave and get back home. It's a seamless experience. We have had so many clients come through, and we learn from every client. So we keep on having a look to see what can we do to make it better. How can we improve ours for you and make sure that it continues to be a seamless experience.
Perfect. Yeah, that goes a long ways. It'll take us a while to get all back up and running, but everybody's ready now that I've talked to, and a lot of people are ready to travel. It's just that reassurance is good. That we'll do our best to make everything work.
For sure,
Yeah.
Richard.
I was going to ask you, Mike, just real quick, just to kind of relay one of your favorite hunts.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite hunts that I'll always think about, and if there are two hunts that really stand out for me, would be taking my daughters hunting and seeing the joy of what they did. But when Megan, my older daughter, turned 16, she went to the Timbavati. You'll see behind me, that's her buffalo that she shot over there. A fantastic experience. We tracked that buffalo for about 3 miles, and we did a lot of belly crawling and a lot of a lot of hard work to get there. And contrary to what everybody thinks, yeah, in Africa there might be a lot of animals and a lot of species, but none of them believe in suicide. So we had a fantastic hunt on that buffalo, and that was really, really a great experience. And you know what? And then a couple of days later, you'll see that there's an impala there behind me now. That impala, I went and hunted with my younger daughter, Kaylee, and she shot the impala, and we had to track it a little bit. And as we got up to it, it wasn't dead. It jumped up, and a big male lion came right in front of us and took the impala. And so we experienced a lion kill on an impala right in front of us, in a wild system. And that was probably some of the experiences that you can never really explain it. It was just absolutely incredible.
Well, that's
So
what
yeah, that.
I shared that picture that we took. Do you remember when the lion came through the camp at
Oh
Timbavati?
yeah, yeah,
And you didn't hear anything, and didn't you tell me that it killed something just right next to
yeah,
camp, wasn't it?
yeah. No, that's we've had some incredible experiences in the Timbavati camp. We get lion walking through there pretty regularly. Elephant. You often hear leopard at night. There's hippo. So yes, it's a really wild place, and it's really, really an enjoyable hunt.
I was telling him about the story where we were sitting around the fire eating at night, and all of a sudden that elephant just showed up right in front of
Yeah,
us. What was it,
yeah,
10 yards away, 15 yards?
yeah. No, that's those are pretty scary moments. But in Africa, in those kind of experience in areas, the wildlife's got the right of way, so we kind of just back out of the way and keep away from it.
Well, that's what I was telling him, how impressed I was that you guys talked that elephant out of that camp just by saying,
Yeah,
hey, you need to leave. You got to go. All in really calm. A lot of people would have freaked out and headed out. They would have
yeah,
went over to the cement building and holed up, you know.
yeah. Yeah, no, you got to keep calm. You with those situations, you just got to keep a cool head. And um, the animals aren't there to harm you. They're not really looking for trouble. But they've got the ability to deal with trouble. So you need to kind of be aware that you trespassing in their area. They're not trespassing in yours. So you
Yeah,
got to treat them with respect.
for sure. And I don't, because I know you had a really long day and got everything, but maybe we could talk a little bit about rifles and what you have there, and when people bring up, if how hard that is and how to work through that process.
Yeah, we've got the rifle system very, very sorted out. We always suggest that you bring your own rifle, and we suggest you bring the rifle that you shoot the best with, the most accurate, with really, really good premium quality bullets. Anything from a 270. We love 300s. We love 7mm rem mags. Any of those are really good plains game hunting. Obviously, when you go to shoot dangerous game, minimum is a 375, 375, 416, brilliant. No worries about that. And then if you want to go heavier than that, provided you can shoot it accurately, that's great. We've got a great battery of guns over here. We have from guns that youngsters can shoot, 270s, 306s. We've got a couple of doubles, 375s. So we've got a really good battery of guns. Should you choose not to bring your own rifle and use ours, we have the ability to accommodate you.
Yeah, and you'll handle when you talking to the people, and Louise is so good about contacting and staying in touch with everything.
Yes.
I got a birthday wish from her yesterday, which all that stuff means a lot. It's just and that's why I think we work so well together, Mike, because we have the same common goals, and that was another thing. I know you won't bring it up and say anything, but how appreciative I am, because you know my passion is the veterans and hunting and fishing with veterans, and you hosted a couple very deserving people, you know, in 2000, was that 19, I believe, or 20? No,
No,
to
it was
19
19.
that time.
Yeah, it was 19.
So,
Yeah,
and that's such a big deal for us to have somebody that shares that too. And I you know, I'll never be able to say thank you enough, but those John and Joe, you know, they still talk about. I just been getting messages from John on my phone, talking, you know, too already. So we're hoping he's watching. If he is, I can't tell him. You know, I can't wait to hunt with those boys in Africa too, John's boys. So
yeah.
Yeah. I think we had a comment 0.17 HMR minimum. So
maybe
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I think you know, if you want to bring your 17 HMR, you're more than welcome to. We've got a lot of vomiting to do and a lot of vermin that you can
That's
shoot with it, but yeah, for buffalo.
yeah, right. Oh, that's great.
oh,
That's great.
good.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about, is there anything else that, Mike, you can think of that we didn't reach this time? Because I want to do this about every 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, you know,
Yeah,
as the hunts progress.
yeah, no, that'll be fantastic, and you know, we have started hunting, so I'm really hoping that on our next one that we can do, we'll have guys in camp, so people will be able to see how vibey it is in camp. Camp's a great place. We've got so much
Yeah.
happening, and you know, right now in camp, we're preparing for our guys that are arriving tomorrow. So I've got my mom doing the cooking for this next hunt, and Kaylee, my daughter's in camp, and we all getting ready for the guys coming in tomorrow and getting all prepped up. We're very grateful and thankful that we've been able to start hunting, and we've had a few hunts come through, which have been fantastic. And you know, we're very grateful to our American families for coming over and supporting us here at Hunt the Sun.
Yeah.
Where
And my,
you might arrive as a client, but you'd leave as family.
and
That's great.
that's exactly how it is. I had one more thing too, Mike. I wanted to share with the program that you do with the schools over there too, just a little bit. And I know it kind of fell by the wayside, but it was something they're going to start picking up again. And that project with the computers and how that all works.
Yeah, we got a fantastic project that we're working with one of our local ladies over here, where she started an aftercare. She couldn't back the formal government school system, so she decided to go on her own and start an aftercare to be able to give the kids more experience. And currently, we're kitting it out with. We're trying to get as many tablets and things going as we can. We supply simple things, like just, you know, basic meals, just snacks, food. Make it a place that the kids want to come spend the afternoon. We've got puzzles. We reward them with simple things like tennis balls, which is a massive asset to have, and basically just trying to show them what the world is, and get them onto computers and teaching them about the internet, and trying to give them skills which basically taken for granted by, you know, our children, because our children really have access to all of that. But
Yeah.
for some rural child that doesn't even have electricity where he lives, something like the internet is just something, you know, something he can't even comprehend. So really, to just give him the opportunity to learn how to dream. We've also got a couple of programs in Mozambique as well at the moment. A GoFundMe page going where we're trying to reach, for Albie's village. We're trying to get water from the river to his village, and that project's going fantastically well at the moment.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah, that's great.
we can get people like Olive here just gathering supplies and all that, we can figure out how to get, get that stuff shared over there too. So that's kind of one of my passions too, is you have to be able to give back. We're
For
lucky
sure.
to get to do what we get to do, but it's even better when you can give back. So everybody that's watching, if we can handle that, we can handle all the help we can get.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, that's great. Is there information on your website on some of that, or at least how to contact you if someone's interested in that?
Yeah, they can just contact me on my website, and I'll send them the links that they can have a look at. There is some for our, we call it the war program. There is some information on that. Otherwise, just drop me an email. I'll send you the links. You can have a look on YouTube. There are a couple of different video clips on Albie's Village as well. When you get to see that, it's actually quite heartwarming to see how hard and how simple the needs of those folk are, and how easy it is to help them because they have got so little.
Well, I got one more question since we are broadcasting this also on Blind Grillin'. What is the favorite dish that you guys serve that everyone seems to love when they're hunting with you guys?
I would say that has to be Gamesbuck tenderloin on the coals in kind of a mustard and lemon sauce.
Awesome. Well, that sounds good.
Absolutely fantastic.
You probably should explain too that what you call a barbecue down in South Africa, because Chris is the king of barbecue, but I can never pronounce that. What you guys call it?
Like a kudu grill kind of thing, or?
No, we call you a braai.
Okay.
So and we have most of our meals in Africa in camp. We braai, which is the barbecue grill over coals, and we then cook the meat on that braai, and then we cook it with all the sides. And
it's
awesome.
Good.
Yeah, that's great. Mike, we really do appreciate you joining us, and I know you've had a busy day.
About Africa is.
Oh, go ahead.
You guys there still?
Yep. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. He may have dropped out. Are you there?
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's gone. So,
okay.
But that's all right. We really appreciate him joining us. I hope folks will go to huntthesun.com and you can get more information about that there as well. And of course, we'll be provide more information in the future as well. About Mike and Hunt the Sun, have him on regular. That'd be great, and look forward to more conversations about what's happening there, and maybe get some experience even through the live stream about what they're doing in camp and stuff. So that'd be lots of fun.
What we want to build this off to, Chris, is to have that place where we can go to for information, so people can talk to him live. Because it is a long ways to go, and if you got somebody that's you can talk to that's more experienced, and it just helps everything.
Yeah,
makes it a lot easier. Once you're there, you're taken care of, but there's a lot of stuff in between, and we can help with that too. So yeah,
absolutely
good. I appreciate your time again this week, and that was awesome. That was a good one.
Yep. Oh yeah. Enjoyed having Mike and you and listening to the conversation and about that experience, and that's just really cool. Very cool. So all right. Well, folks, we do appreciate again you guys listening and tuning in and watching the program. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button as well. Share it with everybody you know. We really appreciate that as well. Those who have commented, we really appreciate also. Olive, thanks for joining as well. And sitting there and helping keep your dad or your grandpa in line. Appreciate that.
She does a good job with that. She keeps me, and it's fun that we get to talk and work on these little things too. It's a good deal.
Yeah, she's got some great experiences ahead of her, and I look forward to hearing about those stories as well. So, all right, thanks again, Olive, for joining us. Richard, good to have you again. And until next time, folks, we appreciate everybody tuning in to The Branch at Elkhorn Outdoors.